So welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wealth Mindset, MasterClass. So we're going to keep this really concise, really effective, really practical, really beneficial, all the really, really juicy good stuff. Does that sound good? Does that sound like a good plan? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you excited to learn, to know, to deepen your understanding, to embody a wealth mindset and what that can mean for you? Give me a yes if you're in the right room. Give me a yes if you're here to get a wealth mindset. Is that what you're here for? Give me a yes. Do you know how to put that in the chat? Yes, yes, yes. You're in the house. Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Move those fingers. Yes, absolutely. We're here to move those fingers and actually get in the great energy for it when we know that action, action, action is what gets results. It's not just passive. We've got to be part of this. We want to be the hero in our own stories, not just the passive back, what do you call it? The person in the back. Okay, awesome stuff. So welcome to the Wealth Mindset. And I'm curious, do you know why dough is another word for money? Anyone that knows me, you know that I used to have restaurants and I used to have a lot of pizza. I used to do a lot of pizza. I had a pizza restaurant. I'm half Italian. Do you know why dough is another word for money? Because everyone needs it. Boom, boom. Get it? Now, unfortunately, we don't want to need it. Needing it isn't such a great word, right? We want it. We want to welcome it. We want to love it. Okay, we want to love on it. We don't want to as much need it. Need and shitting on yourself goes out of this room after the Wealth Mindset Masterclass, and you will never shit on yourself again. Got that? Yes? Give me a yes. Give me a yes if you've got that. So, okay, listen. You being here right now. I'm loving your comments. If you're new in my world, give me a 1. If you've been here with me before, give me a 2. If you've been with me a lot before, give me 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, give me a 1 if you're new in my world. I guess some of you are new in my world, and some of you have been here a lot. Okay, so, but if you've been here, if you're here, obviously you are here. If you are here, it means that this means something. It means that you're ready. It means that you're ready to shift, doesn't it? It means that you're ready to do something about this. It means that you're ready to stop letting money, fear, or even overwhelm control you. Isn't that right? Is that a good plan? Would you like that? Would you like to stop the fear, let go of the fear? Would you like to stop, have less overwhelm? Would you like to have a shift? If you're from Ireland, that might sound like right now, like I'm coming on to you. If you want to get the shift. If you're not from Ireland, you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. If you're from Italy, like my dad, he'd be going, I do not understand what you are saying. I don't understand. Okay, yes, yes, yes. You want the shift. Okay, so you want to start living a life of freedom, right? A life of more freedom, a life of more ease, a life of more peace of mind, a life of more clarity. Yeah, sure do. Okay. And what I want you to know is this. I want you to know that I do get it. I do see you. I see you. Yes, I'm looking at you. And maybe you're here because maybe you're in business already. But for example, maybe your income isn't consistent. Maybe you're working way too hard, right? Okay. Maybe you're working very, very hard for the money that you're making. Maybe you're making some money and maybe you're afraid of losing it, huh? Yeah, is that one of those? Okay. Or maybe you're sick of the kind of the feast and the famine, the ups and the downs and the cycle of kind of like, when is the next one coming? Maybe you see other people doing it and you're kind of wondering to yourself, why not me? Is that the case? Right? And what I want you to know is I get all of that. I get it completely. Because before I kind of started to understand how this works, I was broke also. Okay. I was struggling. I was exhausted. I came to a point in my life, and without giving away my age, about 15 years ago, that I was at rock bottom. I was bankrupt. I felt like a complete and utter failure. I'd had a whole empire of 3 restaurants and a gift shop, and I lost it all. I'd no home, nothing. All of it was gone. And I went from that, from feeling like a failure, from losing it all to building a 6-figure business, to owning my own dream home again, from rekindling my relationship with my father, from finding love to and helping thousands to have a wealth mindset and shift their mindset and their perception and their beliefs about themselves and about life. And I didn't get here by luck. And I didn't even get here by that much hard work. Do you know how I got here? I got here because I changed my mindset around wealth and abundance and receiving. And this evening, or if you're watching this on the replay, wherever time of the day, night, whatever it is, I'm going to show you how you can do the same. Does that sound good? Give me a yes if that sounds good. Give me a yes if that sounds good. Move those fingers. Move those fingers. Take action. The little people, your subconscious mind, the little people in your mind want you to take action. When you take action, it means that they're listening more attentively. They're sitting up and they're saying, this is something important. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so I'm going to share with you 5 principles of the wealth mindset. I'm going to give you the exact strategy that I use to make 50K, I say a week. Between you and I for promotions, it was probably about 10 days. Well, started around day 7 and I had it by about day 10, 11. I made actually over 50K. It made about 53 grand. And I'm going to help you how you can do that as well. But I'm going to help you how you can understand why your mindset controls your money, not the other way around. Your mindset controls your money, what you're able to receive, what you're allowing yourself to receive. And by the way, wealth doesn't mean the same thing for all of us. Some of us might be here not just for money. Maybe money's part of it. Maybe money's not even important. Maybe you're here for other stuff. Maybe you're here for wealth means love. Wealth means peace. Wealth means, joy. Wealth means feeling good about yourself. All of that. If you want to receive wealth in any form, then your mindset is what controls it. Okay. So what I want to do is before we begin and go even further, I want you to take a deep breath, if it's safe for you to do so. Well, I presume you can breathe even if you're driving. But I want you to take a deep breath and be fully present with right now. With right now. And give yourself a little round of applause, a little thank you, a little moment of gratitude, just for giving yourself this time, the next 45 minutes or so, to actually really contemplate. Really contemplate, because most people don't go this deep into this stuff. Most people don't. They just zombie through life. And you're here to expand your development, expand your thinking, open yourself up, challenge yourself, challenge the old beliefs, challenge the blocks that are keeping you stuck. And for that, I want to applaud you. Okay, because that means you're in the 1% of the 1%. I always say this, and it's true. So what you're about to experience here with these 45 minutes isn't just a talk. I don't want it to be that. I want you to treat this as this was the most important 45 minutes of your life. Not something you just hear and you can regurgitate and say, did you know that? But something that you actually really digest and really deepen and really go into how you can make this work for you. That's how you have a shift. This is what this is. This is a shift. My aim, my goal, some of you know I'm a hypnotist. My aim over these 45 minutes now is to change your direction, even 1 degree off course. And that's how you change your whole life. This is a transformation, that if you let it, can completely rewire how you think about wealth, how you think about success, and even your own potential, your own abilities, right? So I want you to ask yourself, am I truly where I want to be financially? Ask yourself that. Am I truly where I want to be financially? Am I truly, honestly experiencing freedom, security, and whatever it is, the success that you want and desire? Are you? Give me a yes if you are and a no if you're not. Let's be honest. Let's be real here, right? Yeah, I really appreciate your honesty, right? Because you deserve more. You deserve all of this. You deserve much more than this. So if the answer is anything except for, I don't really like a hell yeah, that's real American. I don't have anything against Americans if you're American, but that's real hell yeah. I don't like negative words. I don't like hell. Let's say heaven yeah. Let's say heaven yeah. Okay, so everyone say no. Oh, there's one yes. Okay. Okay, we've got one yes, somebody who is experiencing all the freedom, all the security, and all the success that they desire. I applaud you. Well done. Okay, for the rest who are not a total heaven yes, this masterclass is exactly for you. So I want to ask you this. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say the word wealth? Put it in the chat. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say the word wealth? Money, freedom, gold. I love that gold. Money, freedom, financial freedom, freedom to choose. Ooh, lack and freedom. Interesting choices of words, right? So, okay. Sometimes people say it's, these are really common. Freedom, abundance, money, and sometimes people put things like stress, yeah, lack, scarcity. And do you want to know what the truth is? The truth is money isn't just numbers. It's not just your bank account. It's energy. It's energy. It's a transaction of energy. It's an energy exchange. It's a relationship. It's a relationship. And it's a complete reflection of your subconscious beliefs. So if you've ever thought like stuff such as, I'm very much into inner dialogue, I work hard, but it's still not enough. I want more success, but I'm afraid of burnout. I hit a ceiling in my business and I just don't know how to break through, or money just isn't coming easily. And you want to be really careful about those buts where you put your butt. Some of you have heard me saying that before. Your butt matters. My butt is very important to me. Okay. And I'm not sure if your butt is as important to you, but where you put your butt matters. So if you're saying things inside your head, such as, I work hard, but it's still not enough, put the but, change it. Change the sentence around the but. So say, it isn't quite enough yet, but I'm working, so I'm going to get there. Change that whole sentence. And I want you to really listen to this because we're rewiring how you see wealth, how you see money, how you see abundance forever. Okay. So I want you to look at the way you view this because deep down, there is another way. There is another way. And I know that you're able for much, much more. So I get it because, as you know, I've kind of somewhat started to crack the code, you know, and this isn't theory. This is about actually kind of what really, really works. So I haven't introduced myself, but some of you know I'm Danielle Serpico. I'm half Irish, half Italian. I'm a mindset coach. I'm an NLP trainer in neurolinguistics. I talk all about language and communication and the effect that that has inside your mind or the minds of those people that you speak to, your clients, your potential customers, in your relationships, etc. And I'm a business mentor. I'm an author. I'm a hypnotist. And I'm a woman who has built a six-figure business by rewiring my mind and other people's minds for success. So I want to talk about this blueprint as well tonight. Okay. And you're going to get that, by the way, straight after this masterclass. And before I learned all this, I was working very hard. As I said, I had four businesses, 3 restaurants and a gift shop. And I was able to hustle. I was able to get on with things because if you're anything like me, you understand what it is to survive. You understand what it is to just get by, to have to, because you've no one else to support you, you've no one else to rely on, and you have to work because otherwise there's no one else going to put food on your table. And I did that for many, many years. I was able to hustle. I didn't come from wealth. I came from poverty. And at like 12 years of age, I was babysitting, I was painting signs, I was doing everything I could. I was hustling left, right, and center to get money in to support myself and even my mother, to put myself through college and all the other stuff. And at 19, I'd opened my first restaurant. Now, guess what? I had confidence because I had to learn the hard way. And I know that many of you listening to this can relate to this. I had to pick myself up and put on a front and act confident and go in and get the business and get the money because that's what had to be done. That's survival instinct. That's masculine energy. But I had no self-worth. I had no self-worth. Huge difference. And if your self-worth is not aligned with the money, the income, the life that you want, you're never going to grow it. The money won't come. You will sabotage yourself. So I used to work hard, but I had no real direction and I had no real freedom and I had no real vision or fulfillment. And I remember one night I was sitting in my car, and this is even before I went totally bankrupt and lost it all. And I was thinking, why is it so hard? I said, why do people seem to be able to do this easily? And I'm just on the treadmill every day. At that point, was working in my restaurants, and anyone who's in the restaurant business knows how tough it is. And I learned the hard way after losing it all. And it's only now looking back that I understand that wealth isn't about working harder. It's about how you think. It's about how you show up. It's about how you make decisions. So your mindset dictates your money. Does that make sense? Give me a yes if you can relate to that and that makes sense. Your mindset dictates the money, the life, the abundance, the stuff that you want to have. I realized that I was thinking, and even when I kind of started growing my business, I was still thinking kind of like a broke person. I was afraid to charge more. I was afraid to charge full stop at the beginning. I was afraid to charge anything. And then I started charging little amounts. I was afraid to charge as if I was doing something wrong by charging for my services. I was hustling instead of like getting in the right energy and having a relationship. I was waiting for permission instead of owning my worth. Does that make sense? And everything kind of started to change when I reprogrammed how I believed about things, my beliefs. I learned the psychology of wealth, not just like little money tips. I started using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I started to listen to how I spoke to myself and how I communicated with others. And I started to understand how to use subconscious influence to help me feel better and help the people around me feel better. Okay. And that's when I made 50K in 10 days. So I want to make one thing clear. Your mindset grows in direct proportion to your self-worth. Sorry, your wealth grows in direct proportion to your self-worth. Does that land? Give me a yes if you agree with that, if that resonates with you. Give me a yes if you get that. If you don't believe you are worthy of the money, what will happen is, even if you get it, you will lose it. And that happened to me. That happened to me. And you see it happening to people like who win the lotto all the time. The statistics are huge. Something like 73% of millionaires, of people who win the lotto and become millionaires, lose it in under 5 years. They've given it away, they've lost it, they've spent it because they don't know how to hold. They don't know how to hold because they don't subconsciously, deep down, fundamentally believe that they are worthy of that money. They haven't identified, they haven't had an identity shift to feel, you know what, that's the person I am. Does that make sense? So what I want to really land with you right now is this, that what got you here won't get you there. What got you to where you are now, doing things exactly the same as you've been doing them and feeling the way you've been feeling, won't get you to the next level. So if you've been stuck at any income level, even if it's nothing, even if it's small, even if it's scale, even if you've already got to 6 figures and you want to scale higher, battling inconsistent results, feeling overwhelmed, that's not a strategy problem. It's a mindset problem. It's an internal subconscious problem around your self-worth, around your energy. Does that make sense? Yeah. So yeah, what changes you do, change what you do and what you do changes. Exactly. So a wealth mindset is you believe you're in the mindset of money is always flowing in. It's not scarce. You believe that you can make bold, confident decisions. You know that risks are necessary, not recklessly, strategically, but you know that risk and investment is necessary. You trust yourself. Certainty is so important for success, and you assume success. That's vital. If you're in a scarcity mindset, if you're in a poverty mindset, guess what you do? Can you relate to any of these? You believe that money is hard to get. Do you believe that? And you believe that it's very easy to lose when you get the money. I was asking one of my private clients this yesterday. So what did you do when you got the money? And this is, I don't know if this person's on this call, but this person just got, after messaging me about a week ago now and saying, I really need to get money in. And I said, okay, have you done X, Y, and Z? I said, no. And I said, okay, go do X, Y, and Z. And they went and did X, Y, and Z. And guess what they got? Three new clients. And on our next call, the next week, I said, how are you feeling? Yeah, it's good. I said, what? He's like, it's good. I said, sorry, excuse me? You were praying to God. You were praying to the universe. You were saying you wanted the clients. You were saying, please, universe, I really want these people. I want this, these clients. I want to get the money in. The universe gave it to you, and that's how you received it with, uh-huh. What do you think is going to happen next time? Remember, I said money is you're in a relationship with money. So when money comes through the door, after you begging for money to come, and you're sitting there, think it was of money as your lover. And you're saying, I really want money to walk through the door right now. Please, universe, bring me money. I really want money to come home to me now. Money walks in the door. Hey, baby, here I am. Oh, okay. You're here. Yeah, it's good. You were begging for me. You wanted me so badly. I'm here, baby. Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah. So I'm just kind of wondering, I need to get more of you in now. I kind of want more of you. Like, but I'm here. Do you not want me? You said you wanted me. Yeah, I do. It's good. Ah, do you think money wants to stay? Or do you think money wants to go, well, you know what? I don't think you really appreciate me, baby. I don't think, you're really loving on me as much as I'm looking for. I think you kind of teasing me a little bit. You gave me totally different vibes at the start. You get what I'm saying? Is this landing? So you've got to celebrate it. You've got to celebrate when money comes in. And I say this all the time. I say this to different, clients and different programs in the subconscious shift that I'm doing at the moment. Even if you find 5 cents on the floor, how do you respect money? How do you treat it when it comes calling? Are you loving on it? Are you saying, I love you, 5 cents? Show me the money. The money's raining from the heavens. And you go, yeah, it's just 5 cents. Do you think more of it wants to come? Does that make sense? So money, you've got to believe that money is easy to get. But a scarcity mindset, a poverty mindset, believes money is hard, and it believes it's easy to lose. You feel guilty around money. How do you feel when you hold money? What do you do when you have money? What do you do? Do you stash it under the mattress? Do you spend it as quickly as it goes out? Do you look at it and say, yeah, that 50 quid will be gone by the end of today? Do you say things like that? Do you reinforce that identity? Are you saying to people, sure, my wallet is empty. It'll be here today, gone tomorrow. Are you reinforcing those beliefs? Do you feel guilty around it? Do you feel guilty around charging your worth? Do you feel guilty about charging a great, wonderful investment for your services? And do you self-sabotage when success starts to happen? That's a big one. And do you play small to avoid risk, to avoid getting hurt, to avoid judgment, to avoid showing up and being seen? So if you're doing this, that's your money set point. Your subconscious mind and your subconscious money blueprint is dictating your life, your income, and all of that. Yeah? Does that make sense? If you believe that money is difficult, if you think money is stressful, if you think money is always out of reach, and by the way, here's a piece of gold. If when you think about money, it seems far away, if it's out of your physical arm's reach, bring it closer. Any of my NLP students will know that. That's a subconscious reprogramming. So if when you think about money, it feels like way out there, then you've got to visualize it coming closer so that you can hold it in your hands. And when you do physically hold money in your hands, how does it feel? Do you feel guilty holding money? Does it feel dirty? Does it feel bad? You've got to change your mindset around that. You've got to start loving on it. You've got to start really writing down, changing your identity, changing what you say. You've got to start holding money, loving it, putting it on your bedside table, looking at it, saying to it, I love it. When you open your wallet, even if it's a fiver, say, I love this money. I love this money. I appreciate this money. But also give it away with love, because it comes back to you with the same energy as you give it out. So I grew up kind of learning, about resilience and, perseverance at a very early age. And as a martial artist, that's where my brand, the BlackBelt Mastermind, came about. I'm the author of the book, The BlackBelt Mastermind. I know that your mind is your strongest weapon. Don't really like the word weapon, but your strongest tool, your strongest thing that you can have at your disposal. But I also know that, I know this firsthand, that without the right mindset, no strategy is going to save you. Okay, so I realized this when I lost everything. And then I discovered that, it was all about this. It was all about my belief about myself and my belief about money. So I want to ask you this. Who here feels like they're doing all the things, working harder than ever, and still not getting the financial results that you want? Let me know in the chat. I'm glad the penny is dropping. I'm glad the penny is dropping. Celebrate the small wins, invest it. Yes, absolutely. You've got to be the same energy with giving out money as you are with receiving it. It's got to go out, not with kind of a sense of lack, with a sense of joy. Yeah, you're sharing the money. Money is energy. It's got to keep moving. It's got to keep moving. Otherwise, we have a recession, right? When people start hoarding the money, there's the same amount of money in a recession. It's just that some people have it and other people don't. That's why we've got to keep that energy exchange going. So yes, right? So, and I get that. I totally get that, and this is the trap. We're conditioned totally to believe that hard work equals more money. But guess what? Wealthy people don't think like that. Wealthy people don't think that at all. They think, how do I create more by doing less? Do you think that? How often are you thinking that? And here's another piece of gold. The moment that you ask a good question, guess what your brain has to do? It has to go and find an answer for you. So the only difference is, the people with a wealth mindset are possibly asking better questions, because your mind is like Google. It has to give you an answer. It doesn't differentiate whether it's good or bad. I always give the example about spaghetti bolognese. If you type spaghetti bolognese, even though I'm vegetarian, if you type spaghetti bolognese into Google, it's going to give you results for spaghetti bolognese. It's not going to go, not yet. And I always get somebody smart that says to me, yeah, but computers are changing. I get all that. Okay, and they're soon going to be able to read your minds and blah, blah, and AI and all this. But at the moment, basically, if you type into a computer spaghetti bolognese, it's going to give you spaghetti bolognese recipes. So when you ask good questions, your mind has to go to work to give you good answers. So when you start asking better questions like, how do I create more while doing less? Even if you don't get it straight away, go sleep on it. It's processing, it's stewing, it's planted a seed of thought, and your brain has to start coming up with answers. That's its job. Its job. It's simply a computer. It has to deliver an answer. Okay. So I want you to step into this mental shift. You don't work for money anymore. That's a poverty mindset. Money works for you. Money works for you. Ask any entrepreneur. I invested. People have a problem with investing. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. I genuinely don't get why people that say they want to run a business have issues with investing hundreds or even thousands in, for example, a coach or a business development or courses and trainings. I invested probably about $1 million in and that was in my brick and mortar businesses. And then probably so far, I'd say 150 grand or so in my self-development and my skills and my coaching and my learning. Possibly more, actually. So, like, we have to give it out to get it back. We have to. Any entrepreneur, any business person knows that money, it's an investment, but you've got to start thinking like an entrepreneur. Like money works for you, not the other way around. So another mindset shift, say these words, mindset shift is you don't chase clients. You don't chase the sale. Clients and sales and business are attracted to you. Yeah, right? And you don't need to hustle. You want alignment, the right energy. And again, I was speaking to somebody about it today, and they were saying they were so exhausted with having to show up online. I said, who says you'd have to? This is your choice. This is your business. But if you're going to do business, wouldn't it be much better to do it in a lovely, joyful state every day? See that you chose to work for yourself. Do it in a beautiful energy. Put music on. Do it in a lovely energy rather than an energy, oh, I have to do this. Does that make sense? So you want to do it in alignment. Okay. And these are all things that I teach inside my programs. So I'm an NLP trainer, neuro-linguistic programming. It's all about how you speak and how you think and how you talk to yourself. And I want to say this is the way you speak about money is the way that you're going to experience it. So if you're saying, oh, money is scarce, if you're saying all these things, I'm not saying lie, because that's the whole other thing I talk about. I don't believe in saying ridiculous stuff. And I even think I put this up in one of these promotions for this masterclasses. I don't believe in positive thinking. A lot of people say, oh, you're into positive thinking. Oh, yeah, I'm not into that fluff. I'm more realistic than that. And that to me just that's baloney. That's just the most ridiculous, like not thought out sentence that I get thrown at me nearly every day. Yeah, you're into positive thinking. You're all like, think positive. And who said that? I'm not that at all. I'm into smart thinking. Smart thinking. And the difference is this, you have a choice. You wake up every morning and think about this logically. The logical person that says that they're not into positive thinking. I'm not into that. I'm into being realistic. And I say, okay, let's be realistic here. Let's be really realistic, you and I. You wake up in the morning, you say, I'm not into positive thinking. I'm not into that. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to think what? Negative thoughts? Oh, yeah, it's more realistic to as it is. Okay, I'm poor, I'm broke, I'm miserable, I'm sad. Today's going to be a really shooty day. Okay, and you do all that. Now, when you say all that to yourself, how does that cause you to feel? Well, not that great, but that's life, isn't it? Okay. So you go around saying those things, feeling like that. And what do you do with that? Do you get much done? Well, no, I'm being realistic. So you go around moping, complaining and getting nothing done. Because ultimately, you guys, you know this, but I want it to land physically, not intellectually, not something you say, not something you've heard, not something you're just going to regurgitate, but something that you get. There's a difference between this is the fact. When you think a thought and you say this thought into your head, it creates a feeling. That feeling then creates the action that you will take. If you're feeling unmotivated, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling down, you're not going to take action. So the action that you take or don't take, and that equals your results, correct? Give me a yes, right? Correct? That equals your results. So is it positive thinking, or is it smart thinking to wake up in the morning and say, you know what? This is smart thinking. I'm going to start thinking more positively about things. And I don't mean unrealistically. I mean realistically in a beneficial way. So smart thinking is, you know what? Okay, I don't have money right now, but put your butt in the right place. Or, I don't have money yet. Or let me see how I can start making more money today. So you think a thought and you say it in your head that's going to create a better feeling. The better feeling, a feeling that is congruent, that you can get behind, that isn't lying to yourself. I'm not suggesting you say you're a millionaire. Okay, if you're not, I'm suggesting you say something that feels better. And today I'm going to look at ways to bring more stuff into my life. Okay, and then you feel better, and that feeling better creates an action, and that action creates a result. So that, in my opinion, is smart thinking. Now, so wealthy people understand how to program their mind for success. They understand like that you're always programming your mind for success. They use words intelligently. For example, wealthy people will use assumptive language. They will assume, they will use assumptive language, such as, I will make this happen. I will. They'll say things such as, when I hit the income goal that I want, not if. Okay, when. They'll say, I'm ready for the next level, not I'm too scared. Okay, but people in scarcity mentality and poverty mentality always use hesitant language. Hesitant language. Success comes from certainty. Poverty comes from hesitancy. Successful people take action fast, make decisions fast. Poverty, people stuck in poverty, take forever to make decisions and never make decisions. Have you noticed that? Okay, because they're afraid of change. And it's understandable. I get it. It's understandable, it's normal, but unless you're willing to step forward into a moment of trepidation because it's uncertain, it's new territory, you can't get into certainty in a new territory. So you've got to go through it to get to certainty. So poverty people use hesitant language, such as, oh, I don't know if I can do this, or if I did it, or if I could succeed in it, not when, or I hope is a really weak word to use. Like if you went to your doctor or you were having surgery and you said, oh, is this going to be okay? Surgeon, and and he said, well, I hope so. How would you feel? How would you feel? How would you feel more comfortable if he said, of course, yes, definitely. So certainty creates an energy. Okay, we love certainty. We are attracted to it. So this is what affects our sales. This is what affects our conversations. So would you feel more confident if you were buying from someone who says, I think this could work for you? I think this could work for you. Or maybe this might be a good fit. Or, would you trust someone more who says, this will transform your business. This will work for you. When you join this, you're going to get immediate results. You're going to get immediate clarity. Which one feels more enticing? Right? Ultimately, the subconscious mind wants to keep us safe. Ultimately, and this is a really important point. Our subconscious mind wants to keep us safe because it wants to keep us alive. So it wants to keep us in the familiar. So it's always looking for certainty. So when it senses, like hones in on someone else that is certain, that makes you feel, oh, I want to be around this person. I'm not talking about arrogance. There's a difference. I'm talking about a certainty, like an energy of kind of, I've got you. I've got you. Even from my restaurant days, and I remember this, and again, I'm not saying this to hoot my own horn. It's more like a fact. It's just, this is what happened. When I was in the restaurant business, I was like the mother hen, and people would always say to me, all my staff always said to me, I feel safe when you're in the restaurant. And not because I happen to be a black belt, but more because they felt like there was somebody in control. There was somebody kind of like knew what they were doing, and it made them feel safe. Like it just made them feel, there was someone there that had them. And we love that. We are attracted to people that create that feeling. That's what gets the sales in. That's what gets people receptive in any situation. So if you don't sound certain, will your clients trust you? Will your potential clients trust you? No. So I want you to think about, like, for example, and you could even, if you wanted to, if you weren't driving, obviously, if you're not driving, you can think about, for example, something like a phrase, a disempowering phrase that you might say around money. For example, I never have enough. And this is the power of language. Okay, and I want you to kind of get a little idea of how NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, works. Neuro, your brain; linguistics, your language; and programming, how we program ourselves and others, and the effect that has. So when you think about a sentence such as I never have enough, how does that feel? Are you motivated? Right? And actually, before we go further, I just want to say this. What is a belief? What is a belief? Because if you don't have money, of course, if you have a little money, I get it. I get the fact that it's a fact right now. I get that. And I get totally what it's like to be in that situation. But a belief, for example, I'm not saying challenging the fact that you don't have right now, but if your belief is, I will never have money, it's never going to get any better, that's just a made up story, isn't it? A belief is simply something that you've thought over and over and over and over until it feels powerful. It feels believable because you've thought about it so much that you've created a neural pathway that's created a physical emotion in your body of certainty. And so you believe it. So when somebody comes to me and they say, well, and I say, change the sentence and say something like, well, maybe I will have money. I'm open to having more money in the future. I'm open to making lots of money. They say to me often something like, well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's going to happen. And I say, of course you don't. And they look at me and I say, well, how many times have you said that compared to how many times have you said, I'm always going to be poor? So of course you don't believe it yet. So you've got to start saying, I'm going to be wealthier. I'm going to be wealthier, so that you get behind that belief more. It's only simply something that you've said over and over and over and over. That's all it is. Does that make sense? So rewrite that sentence now. So this disempowering sentence, write it to something like, whatever. Instead of I never have enough, I'm excited to have money flowing in easier. Something that's more beneficial, something that's more congruent, that you can get behind, something that you feel is believable. Notice how that feels. Notice the difference. Give me a 1 if that feels better, if that feels more motivating. Which one propels you to take more action? And which one pulls you back? Put a 1 if rewriting it in a more beneficial way gives you more of a sense of motivation, of wanting to take action, of being more open, of more receptive, etc., etc. Yeah, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. So the truth is this, that money is never really the goal. And you've probably heard this said before, it's the byproduct. Okay, you actually don't want money, don't you? Not really even. It's not even the money that you want. What is it you want? You want what money allows you to have, don't you? Yeah. You want what money gives you. Okay. Money is the byproduct. Okay. You want what it gives you: freedom, the words that you used, choice, security, experiences. Isn't that what you want? Isn't that what we're all craving? Yeah. To have or to do. Yeah. Security, freedom. Exactly. These are the things that we want. Yeah. So, but if you don't first become the person who can hold and sustain wealth, you're going to keep sabotaging your success. And I know this. Okay. I grew up half Irish, half Italian. I didn't just grow up, I still am half Irish, half Italian. And navigating 2 completely different cultures, you know. And I was always watching people, and I was always learning how communication shapes our reality, right? And I kind of became obsessed from a very early age with how people communicate and how some people seem to get on better than others. When I was a child, it was more around relationships and love, and it still is. It's all about that, you know. Yeah, and I trained in martial arts. I'm a black belt. I trained in NLP. I trained in hypnosis. I trained in the psychology of influence. And I began to see I did radio for 8 years, interviewing people every single week, and there was always patterns. And I realized that the most successful people weren't the people that worked the hardest. They weren't. You know, they were the people that were most certain. And they were the people that were self-led, who could lead themselves. In fact, a lot of the time, and I hear this all the time from people, in fact, I've said it, I've seen people who haven't got half the skills, the abilities, the talent, the experience, and you see it all the time, who have made loads of money. Why? And then you see people who are really talented, who have all the skills, have all the abilities, and they're not making the money. Why? Because wealth isn't created through hustle. It's created, write this down, through your identity, through who you believe you are. It's created through your identity, who you believe you are. And when I understood this, that's when I went 4 years. No, I don't I live in a mansion. It's a humble little cottage, but in the most beautiful, beautiful part of Ireland, under the Blackstairs Mountain, with my beautiful Labradors and my horde of cats, crazy cat lady, and my beautiful man. And I bought my house outright in 4 years. And how did I do that? Because I got certain. I started to hone in to the fact that certainty is simply something that I say to myself over and over and over again until I believe it. Because if I believe I'm unworthy, it's because I've said that over and over. Why me? What's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. If you're always asking what's wrong with you, what's wrong with me? That's a terrible question to ask. Because if you put that into Google, it's going to give you an answer. What's wrong with you? I used to ask that question all the time. Why me, God? Why me? Why did I end up 36 years of age, broke, divorced, homeless? Why me? Your Google has to go for an answer. The little people have to round up and go, alert, alert, alert. She's asking a question. We've got to deliver something. Look through the filing cabinet. Find stuff to give her. Oh, because your parents got divorced. Oh, because you got bullied as a child. Oh, because you got your heart broken. Give her something. Oh, whatever. You're half Irish, you're half Italian. You don't know where you belong. You're just weird. It has to give you something because it's just doing its job. So those kind of questions are not good. If you're looking to find out why you're something wrong with you, you're going to find something. It has to give you something. If you're going to start looking for why you're magnificent, why you're the biggest miracle on the planet, then your brain is going to start finding things for that. It's very simple. A belief is simply something that you've said over and over again until you feel an energy of belief, until you believe it, until you're certain about it, because you've just said it. It's just something you've said. If you had said it once, you wouldn't have believed it, but because you've said it loads of times, you believe it. And then when you start saying something else, you go, oh, well, I don't believe that. Of course you don't, because you haven't said it enough. Is that landing? I hope that's landing. I trust that that is landing. Don't mind fortune teller. I was told I definitely would never marry. However, I did, and you would have money too. To love that. The limiting belief: you're given a gift of talent, be grateful, as you can't have everything. Yeah. Well, maybe you can have everything. Maybe you can. Maybe that's a belief. Okay. If you know you're given a gift of talent, then it's down to just the certainty of expressing that. You've got to start putting yourself out there. And I know you're talented. So it's about the amount of times you're saying yes. You can have everything. Yes. So it is about the amount of times you're saying it. If you don't feel certain about a belief, if you feel, oh, I don't believe that I'm good enough, or I don't believe that I'm worthy, or I don't believe I'm ever going to make more money, or I don't believe I'm ever going to be successful. First of all, that belief means that you're never going to be successful. Because remember, your thoughts and your feelings are going to equal your results. So if you keep that belief, you're never going to be successful. But the belief itself is just something that you've said. It's just something that you've said. Where did the belief come from? It came from something that you'd said or something that you'd heard over and over again until you believed it. That's all it is. So your subconscious kind of works like a thermostat. If your inner setting is programmed to, oh, I'm poor, or oh, I'm only ever going to make, I'm going to make no money, or I'm going to make €1,000 a month, or I'm going to make 2,000 a month, you'll always find a way. And this is so, so true. And I didn't believe this at the start, okay, either. You'll always find a way to stay at that amount. I remember when I first charged for my first coaching session, I was terrified. And I was also elated when I got paid. And it was pittance at the time. It was something really small. And I was so scared to ask. And then I got it. I was elated. I couldn't believe it. And then I started making that amount of money regularly because I became conditioned to that. I believed I could make that. So think about the money income that you make. If you make, €100 a week, if you make €50 a week, if you make, €10 a week, if you make €400 a week, that's your thermostat. You're comfortable with that. You believe you can make that. And so you do. You make it over and over again. And so reaching maybe 50K a week might seem incredulous right now. But once you do it a few times, it's kind of like, well, that's your new thermostat. Now I believe it. Like when you hit 10K months or 1K months or 2K months or whatever, it's kind of like that's the norm. I can get behind that. And then you get comfortable with that. And then it's the next level. And then you get comfortable with that. And then you always make that. Why is it people that always make that, always make that? Because it becomes their norm. It becomes their new thermostat level. Okay. So your external world will start to shift when your inner world matches. Does that make sense? So your inner world and your outer world have to match. It starts to shift to match your inner identity. Okay. And I really want to flip the switch on that thermostat of yours. So most people kind of believe, I'm not good enough to be wealthy. I don't deserve success like some other people. Making money is hard, all of these things. And if you don't believe you deserve it, it's not going to stay. Remember the analogy of money being your lover? Okay, if you don't believe you deserve it, do you think your lover would want to stay with you if you're kind of, oh, I'm not any good. I'm terrible. I'm rubbish. I don't think I'm worthy of you. No, I think you're too good for me. Do you think money would be attracted to you as your lover if you were like that either? Or do you think money would be attracted to if you were going to come here, baby? I'm amazing. We're going to have such a good time together. Which one do you think money would be attracted to? And your worth. Yeah, me and you, baby, we're going to have the time of our lives together. We are made for each other. We match. We match. We're on the same vibration. We're on the same frequency. We're on the same energy. We're going to have a wild time together. Which one would money want to go to? That person or the person that says, oh, I don't think I'm good enough for you? Oh, I don't know if I deserve you. Which one would money be more attracted to? Okay. So you've got to start making affirmations that you can get behind. Money isn't going to stay around if you feel this unworthy. You're going to start having to look at how you speak to yourself and saying things, yeah, I'm worthy. You wouldn't be here in this world if you weren't worthy. You got to start saying, I'm valuable because you are. You're the most valuable thing. You're the most valuable currency that exists. You got to start changing that script. And I really want, if there's one thing I want to really emphasize today and stay with you is this, that certainty sells. Certainty attracts. Certainty creates wealth. I'm doing a subconscious shift program at the moment. And if anybody does want to jump into it, let me know, message me. We're on day 18 or something of 20. And we're practicing even manifestation. And that might be a bit too woo for you, but it's about certainty. It's about the certainty of imagining holding a cup of coffee and you know with certainty that you're going to have that cup of coffee. It's the same feeling. When you go on a sales call, are you that certain? Are you that certain that you're going to get the sale? You've always got to assume the sale. Always assume the sale. You got to go with that certainty. You got to have that same energy as, I know I'm going to have a cup of tea today. I know I'm going to have a glass of water today. I know I'm going to have, a coffee today. With that same feeling of certainty. That's what creates stuff. So wealthy people don't say, I hope I can make money. They say, I know I will make money. It's that simple. Your language, your words matter. As I said, I teach this stuff. I'm an NLP trainer, and I can show you literally how language rewires your brain. I want you to start saying when I hit my first 10K month instead of if I hit it. I want you to say I will instead of I might. I want you to say this is happening. I am doing this instead of, oh, I hope so, or I've got to think about it. Okay. So people follow certainty. If you aren't certain in yourself, why would anyone else follow you? Why? I often use this quote. I love this quote is leaders are bridges and bridges are tested. And I've said this to a number of you as my clients as well, that if you're not tested, your bridge isn't strong. So everything that has got you here today is a test to build your bridge, to help you be stronger, so that when you can say to others, you know what, I'm certain my bridge is strong, come on over, you mean it. You know it. You know that you've done the test. You know that you've been put under pressure. Your bridge has been tested over and over to make sure that it can hold. So when the time is right and you've stepped into it now, you're able to say with confidence, with certainty, I can hold this. I can hold this. And people will feel that energy. Does that make sense? Is that landing? So I want you to say, if you can by yourself there, I want you to say out loud the words. Say, notice the difference between saying something like, I might be successful. Say that out loud to yourself. I can't hear you. I might be successful. Oh, God. Blah, blah, blah. Now, how does that feel? How does that feel? Does it feel weak? Does it feel, yeah, uncertain, right? Okay. Now say, I will. I will be successful. Say it a few times until it starts to feel congruent. I will be successful. I will be successful until you feel a different energy. It may not happen straight away. There may be doubt. I get that. But say it until you kind of go, I will. Get behind the energy of it. Do you feel the difference? Do you feel how one pulls you back and one propels you? That's the power of words. That's the kind of reprogramming that happens when you change the way you speak to yourself. So wealthy people and successful people don't convince anyone. It's not about convincing. It's never about convincing someone. I don't get on a call and try to convince somebody. I lead with certainty. Wealthy people assume the sale. Instead of saying, for example, like if you're in business, would you like to book a call? It's let's book a call. Let's book a call. Let's map out your strategy together. That's a total shift in identity and how you communicate, isn't it? Okay. So when you've kind of first thought about the wealth mindset masterclass today, what was the first thought that came into your head? Was it like excitement? Was it real anticipation about what you were going to learn? Or was it, oh, I'm not good with money? Or was it, oh, I'm not going to learn anything? Or this is going to be a waste of time? Even that shift in energy. Notice the words that you said and the approach that you come to spend your time, your most valuable asset. If you approach it with, oh, I'm not going to learn anything new, then how is your energy going to be? How receptive are you going to be? How is that information going to be actually downloaded into your brain, into your subconscious? And how likely are you then to take action on this gold that I'm giving you today? How likely are you to actually take action and implement it? But successful people, and I see that coaching people all the time, I see the clients who are receptive, who are listening, who come with the attitude of, you know what, I'm going to take everything from this session and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to take everything I can. I'm coming to this session to learn, to grow, to take it all in. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this like absolutely phenomenal rather than, oh, yeah. And you come with that attitude, that's what you're going to get. That's the result that you're going to get. Does that make sense? So these are our money blocks. These are our mindset blocks. This is the difference between a wealth mindset or a poverty mindset. They run deep. It runs deep. I get that. There's a lot of stuff that can be done, you know? So what I want to say is I want to kind of start finishing up and I want to talk to you a little bit about my 50K strategy. So successful people, and this is really important, aren't fearless. And this is probably the biggest obstacle and thing that I see that stops people. Most people say, when I don't feel so afraid, when I'm confident enough, when I'm ready, when I'm ready, that one. When I've got all my ducks in a row, when my website is perfectly polished, when I have this, when I have that, then I will do X, Y, or Z. And they never do anything because it's always when. And when I have the confidence is the biggest one I hear. Oh, I just have to get my mind around it. When I grow a little bit, but you can't grow unless you grow through fear. Because as corny as it is, courage isn't the absence of fear, right? We've heard that said before. Courage is feeling fear and doing it anyway. That's where courage comes from. And successful people say yes. They take action, even if they don't know how. They say yes. Successful people don't have less fear. Here's the myth. People say, oh, they must be so brave. They must be so courageous. They must be so confident. No, they just go and do with the fear. That's the only difference. They take action faster. They say yes. They make decisions quicker. They move even with fear. Even with fear. They get comfortable, or more comfortable maybe, with feeling fear and doing anyway. They grow bigger than their problems. They grow bigger than their fear. People that stay stuck keep waiting for the fear to go away, but fear never goes away. I have this conversation every day with my private clients. Every day. What if the fear doesn't go away? What if you've got to grow bigger than the fear and you learn how to hold it and take action anyway? Oh, I'm fearing being seen. I'm fearing being judged. I wait until my confidence grows. Let me do the inner work first. Let me heal first. Let me grow first. Like, but that can't happen. All of that won't happen until you move. Because like crossing the ocean, to get to the other side, you've got to go through. Like getting in the cold Irish Sea, it's going to feel cold first for a moment before it warms up. Does that make sense? It's not landing. So it's feeling the fear and doing it anyway. If you can hold discomfort, you can hold wealth. Okay? You have to be able to hold. You have to be able to hold. Actually, I've come up with a new idea for a book, and I'm going to call it, it's going to be based around this, our ability to hold all feelings. It's not the absence of feelings. You want to have more success, you want to be wealthier, change these sentences. Change going from, oh, when I don't feel afraid any longer. When I stop feeling that feeling, then I will do. Change that to I am going to go with this feeling through it, and I'm going to be bigger than it, stronger than it, grow larger than it. I'm going to expand my ability more than the feeling that I hold.